Okay, welcome to lesson 8 of Class Quiver. This one deals with students who are out of class. So how do you handle that? In our school, we have the sign out sheet and a hall pass. What I propose is using Class Quiver instead for the documentation instead of a sign out sheet. So let's say, for example, Victor wants to leave the classroom. It's simple. You just right click on him and do exit. And then you get to pick, why is he leaving? You can even make up your own custom categories. Uh, Check this if you want to use that in all classes. But what's really neat is it tells you how many times um, Victor's been out of class. And here's what the class average is. So if these is a big mismatch, you might want to consider asking Victor not to leave. But it also puts his total time out of class, and this is what we really ultimately want to reduce. It will tell you what his tardies are, too. If he's tardy, there will be a message here saying he's tardy today, so you might not want to leave class, have a privilege for being tardy. So if it's just the bathroom, we're just going to click OK. And by the way, that whole box is optional. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, and then it's just a right click. Please notice that there is a timer going, and the whole picture has a kind of a yellow shade to it. So this means that he's out of the room, and if you want to select students randomly, then it won't pick Victor because he's out of the room, which also means he may miss an opportunity to participate if you use participation. Great. This is optional. You don't have to have this timer showing. Whether you show it or not, there is a timer, and it keeps track. Now, when Victor comes back, you just right-click on him, and it says exactly how long he's been gone. If you need to adjust this, you can right here. And a little bit of a teachable moment box pops up, letting you reminding you what the rules are regarding exits. Notice it's a red exit, so this might be the first 10 minutes of class, or when you say this is not a good time to leave. He didn't lose any points for that, but you could actually assign points if they want to burn a point to leave the class. So you could also do this from a floating toolbar. You don't want to see all of this in the background, do you? How about my just whatever my background is here on my desktop? This is a floating toolbar. If I'm using my computer here to demonstrate and to teach a lesson, then somebody wants to go leave the class, you can just right-click and pick that person. So now Joe wants to leave. The same thing happens. Notice that the exit sign symbol is flashing, reminding you that somebody is out of class, and that happens to be Joe. Again, a right-click takes care of that. I'm going to go back to full screen mode. And notice the timer is still going on Joe. Joe eventually comes back. I'm going to use the exit sign button this time to come back in. And there you go. So if you toggle through the exit signs, would be a responsible. With yellow, it's responsible time to leave. Green is this is the best time to leave. But red is when you don't want to leave. In our school, we have a 10-minute rule. Check out my co-created norms lesson later on, where you see where you can set how many minutes you want that to be. So the first and last 10 minutes would automatically go to a red exit. So that's exits in a nutshell. What about tardies? Let's say Alan just was marked absent. Okay, so I mark students absent because again, the computer will not pick them. And also, the computer is set under class norms again to give every student a point for being there in class without incident. So, Alan, unfortunately, will not be able to score a point for today. If participation is important to you, then that's a good thing. So, but Alan walks in and he comes in late. So, I am going to right-click and choose tardy. So that switches him from being absent to being tardy. This is, again, my teachable moment. You can put whatever you want in here. Notice he has previously only had 0 tardies. And just letting you know, because some schools have a threshold by which some kind of discipline is put into motion. So I'm going to click OK, and now you can see another timer shows how late. And this information is stored and documented. Now, our school doesn't distinguish how late you are. It's you're either tardy or you're not. Most schools are like that. But I care about how tardy they are. Now, this out of class time, whether it be leaving to use the restroom or coming in late, it all adds up. And this is good documentation that you can use when talking to parents and other parties, or directly with the student, about their progress in class and why this might be affecting their grade. So speaking of documentation, if you double click on a student, you can see all of their information. You can see where he's got a tardy here, what the total time is for that tardy, see where it's been logged. Looks like he got dinged for talking earlier. But you could also come up here to class norms, and you can go to the sign in, sign out log, for example. And you can see where Joe signed in and signed out and why. Victor signed in and signed out and why. And you can sort these. You can get a pretty good feel for what's going on with how much time they're taking out of class. I also have an attendance log, and you can also look at just class tracking, and you can see how many points they have, but how much time they've been out of class is what we're focused on here. Of course, this class just started, so there's not much accumulated time. You can see Alan was tardy for 20 minutes here. And so that essentially is, in a nutshell, how you could use Class Quiver to track this information. I like to let the students sign themselves in and out with a remote mouse that I put over by the hand sanitizer station. And this is always on my screen, whether it looks like this or whether it's in a toolbar mode. The students can be trained to find themselves and sign themselves out, and then sign themselves back in when they return. Now, if you're actually teaching on the computer at the same time, you might be the one that will actually, the mouse is already in your hand. You'll just take care of business that way. And that concludes our lesson. Really, you need to look at doing co-created norms lesson as well. Thank you for watching.